Okay, note 6A-5, properties of exponents, and now we are going to divide. Okay, it's very similar to multiplying, all right, but because we're dividing, it's a little bit different, okay, but it's the same process. So, what we're going to do first is we're going to expand, okay, expand first. Now, when you see the fraction bar like this, what's that really mean? Division. Okay, division. We're going to be dividing. So, I want you to draw a really big fraction bar here. Okay? Now, on the top, remember, okay, right before last time we talked about this. 2 to the 5th is really 2 times 2 times 2, 5 times. X squared is really x times x. X cubed is really x times x times x. Y to the 4th is really y times y times y times y, 4 times. If there's not an exponent, okay, y'all gotta calm down over there. If there's not an exponent, we say it's a 1, and it's just x, or whatever it is, whatever letter, okay? Everybody remember this. Now, b to the 5th power, how many b's do I have? 5. So, and this is on top of the fraction. So I want you to write it on top of the fraction bar. B times B times B times B times B. What are you doing?
I forgot I had that.
Okay, let's do this right now. Okay, on the bottom, how many b's do I have on the bottom?
2.
B times B. Okay. If you have the same thing on the top and the bottom of the fraction, what happens?
1.
They are 1. You're right. So what does that mean?
B divided by B. Right?
B divided by B.
B divided 5 by 2.
No.
Or 5 minus.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. No, you had that.
Same thing on the top and the bottom of a fraction. What happens? Okay. Well, B over B. I have the same thing on the top and the bottom of a fraction. What happens?
Cancels out.
They cancel out. Okay. Then I have another B over B on a fraction. What happens? Cancels out. And what am I left with?
3.
3 B's, right? B times B times B. So this is really
B to the 3rd power.
B5.
B to the 3 over 1. Okay, over 1. Now, how else can I write this?
B.
I can just simplify it, B to the 3 without writing the 1 on the bottom, right? So my answer is really, I don't have anywhere to write this, so I'm going to write it right here. B cubed. I can simplify it and not have the 1 underneath. Does everybody understand? Okay. Does it have a coefficient? Let's talk about it.
No.
So there's not a number in front of the first B. So what number do we say that is?
1.
A 1. What number do we say is on the bottom? 1. Right? Okay, so it's really 1 and 1. Well, I don't have to write the 1B here because I have a B cubed. But I do have to have a placeholder here. So that's why there's a 1 under here for a placeholder. Okay? But B to the 3rd over 1, anything over B over 1 is just the top number. You with me? Okay. Look at number 2. I've got a fraction bar, so I want everybody to draw your fraction bar. Now, how many B's are on the top?
2.
B times B. How many B's are on the bottom? 5. B times B times B times B times B. Make sure you're writing with me.
That'll be the same thing as number 1.
Mm-mm. Write with me. Okay. Write with me. Okay. Same thing on the top and bottom. What happens?
Cancel out.
They cancel. So these cancel. These cancel. Okay. Can I cancel anything else?
No.
No. Okay. Now, What am I left with?
1 over
B, 3 B's, right? And they're on the bottom of the fraction, so they have to stay on the bottom of the fraction. Now, does this make sense?
No.
No. What has to go on the top?
1.
A 1. Does this reduce down to just B cubed?
Oh,
No. You can only reduce it down if the 1 is on the bottom. So can I do anything else here? No. Mm-mm. Okay, questions? Questions? No. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about it. Or what would be the faster way to do this?
Subtract
Subtract what?
3 and 5.
Subtract the what?
Not coefficient.
The exponents. Okay, so if you look right here on number 1, look. I've got a 5 and a 2. Well, what is 5 minus 2? 3. B3. Okay. Now, the 3 is on the top because which number is bigger? 5 or 3? 5 or 2? 5 is bigger, so the 3 goes on top. Now, over here, 2 minus 5 is what? Negative 3. It's a negative 3. So this has to go on the bottom. Got it? Okay. Here we go. Properties of exponents. For every non-zero number b, so b and b, so this is like the problem we had. If you're dividing with exponents, you just subtract the exponents, n minus n. So some examples. Now, what's different about this one? It's the number with the exponent, right? It's not a letter with the exponent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the big 3, okay, because it's the number with the exponent. Then I'm going to subtract 4 minus 3, the exponents. 4 minus 3 is 1. Well, what's 3 to the first power? 3. Okay, look at the next one. All right. It's a variable, a to the third over a to the 10th. Now, what do?
1 minus.
I'm going to subtract the what?
The exponent.
The exponents because I'm dividing, okay? So, when I subtract the exponents, I'm going to take the first one, 3, minus 10. 3 because it comes on top, then the 10. And I get what? Negative 7. Okay, negative 7. So I want you to write a to the negative 7. Okay, now this is super important, so make sure you're listening. You are not allowed to have a negative exponent. Okay, did everybody just hear me say that? You're not allowed to have a negative exponent because here, remember, the exponent tells me how many times I write something. Okay, I can't have a negative, I can't write 2 negative 7 times. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so you cannot have a negative exponent. If you have a negative exponent, you're not finished with your problem. Okay, so look right here. What is 2 minus 5? Negative 3. So this is really b to the negative third power. But what did we do? What happened?
You do the fraction.
It's on the bottom of the fraction. And when it's on the bottom of the fraction, what happened to the negative side? It became positive. Okay? So if you have a negative exponent like this, a to the negative 7, you have to move it to the bottom of a fraction and it becomes positive. All right? So here we go. So a to the 7, I'm going to move it to the bottom of a fraction and it becomes positive. Now, what goes on top? 1, because I have to have something up there. And that's my answer. Questions? And if you don't understand why, how I went from this to this, well, look when we expanded it. What happened? If I expanded this, my 3's would run out, or my A's would run out on the top, but I would still have A's on the bottom, just like the B's. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so let's do some examples. First, take your highlighter. Take a highlighter, whatever color. On example 3, it says simplify the expression. So I want you to highlight your X's. And then you're going to highlight your Y's. Okay, now, what operation are we doing? Multiplying or dividing? I'm dividing. So what am I going to do to my exponents? Add or subtract? Subtract. When you're dividing, you subtract. Okay? So start with your X's. 3 minus 2. Okay, well if I do 3 minus 2, is that a positive or a negative one? Positive 1, so X to the 1. Then I do the Y's. 5 minus 2. Say positive 3. Stop. Positive 3 for the Y. Do I have a fraction bar right here?
Yes. Oh, no.
No. What would be on the bottom of the fraction bar? A 1. Do I need to write that? No. So we're going to rewrite this. Do I need to write this 1 exponent?
No.
No. So this is really going to be X, Y cubed. Questions? Okay, number 4. Now, highlight your big numbers one color. Highlight your M's. Highlight your N's. Okay, I should have done this on all of them, but I forgot. Now, when you're dividing, the easiest thing to do when dividing is to go ahead and draw that fraction bar. So I want everybody to draw the fraction bar. Okay, what do you think I'm going to do with the big numbers this time?
Divide.
I'm going to divide. Just like when you multiplied, you multiply the big, add the little. When you're dividing, you're going to divide the big and subtract the little. Okay? So, what is 8 divided by 2? 4. Now I have to decide, where does the 4 go on the fraction bar?
On top.
Okay? If I was to write 4 as a fraction, how would I write 4 as a fraction? 4 over 1. Okay? Notice how the 4 is on top of the fraction. So when I write it on my answer fraction bar, where all the answers are going to go, 4 has to go on the top, because if it was a fraction, it would be 4 over 1. Okay, is everybody with me on why it's on the top? Okay. This doesn't matter, so I'm going to cross it out. Okay, now, I move to the M's. Okay, and I have 5 minus 8. 5 goes first because it's on the top, and I get what? Negative 3. M to the negative 3. I got a negative answer, so where does it have to go? On the bottom, but what? It's going to turn to what? Positive. So it's going to be M to a positive 3. Then I do the ends. 4 minus 7. And I get negative 3. So where is the n going to go? The bottom, and the 3 is going to become positive. Now, does this look correct, written correctly? No, it's kind of spaced weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it exactly how it should look. And that's my answer. Okay? Any questions? Questions? Okay, look at number 5. How is number 5 different? Okay, parentheses. Listen. What do parentheses mean?
Multiplication.
Multiplying. Okay, so I've got multiplying and what? Dividing. Okay, so take your first highlighter and go through and highlight all the big numbers one color. And then go highlight all your A's another color. Okay, now I'm multiplying, listen, multiplying and dividing. What do you think I'm going to do first? I'm going to multiply. Okay, what I want you to do, watch, listen, draw your fraction bar first. Everybody draw your fraction bar. Now, just the top is being multiplied, right? Okay, just the top is being multiplied. So right now I'm only going to be looking at the top, and I'm going to multiply first. So what do I multiply? 6 times 3 is 18. Now, that's on the top, so it's going to stay on the top. Okay, I'm multiplying, so what do I do with the exponents? Add. So 4 plus 2 is, so a to the 6. Have I done anything with the bottom? No. So we're going to bring it over. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take the exact same color highlighter. So whatever you colored your big number with, I want you to color it again. And then whatever you color the A's with, I want you to color it again. Okay. Can I reduce this anymore? Yes. Okay. What do I do with the big numbers? Are we multiplying still? No. Okay, there's no more multiplication. So now I'm going to divide. 18 divided by 2 is? Okay, I still have to have my fraction bar, and 9's going to go where? On the top or the bottom? Top. Good. Now I'm subtracting the A's. 6 minus 5 is? 1. Do I have to write the 1? No. So it's just A. Do I have anything on the bottom of the fraction?
No.
What would go down there?
1.
A 1. Do I have to write the 1 on the bottom? No. So 9A is my answer. Any questions? Do y'all like the highlighters? Do you think it's helping you? Okay, number 6. What's different about number 6? It's parentheses, which is what? Multiply, and it's also what? Dividing. Okay, go through and highlight all your big numbers one color. Everybody should be doing this with me. Then do all your M's. Good, Levi. Are you highlighting right now? Because you should be. And then all the N's. Thank you. All right, draw your fraction bar. What are we going to do first? Multiply the what? The top. Okay, we're going to multiply the top because those have the parentheses that are touching. Okay, so negative 3 times 4 is what? Negative 12. Then I'm going to move to the M. M to the 3 and just a regular M. So what is this M?
1.
A 1. If it doesn't have an exponent, it's a 1. And because I'm multiplying, what do I do with the exponents? Add. So 3 plus 1 is?
4.
So M to the 4. And then I move to the ends, 2 and nothing, which would be a what? A 1, which would add, and they become N3. Good. Okay, have I done anything with the bottom? So what should I do with it? Bring it over. All right, take your highlighters, highlight. Okay, we're going to simplify. Now how are we simplifying? What operation?
Division.
Divide. So what do I do with the big numbers? Divide. Negative 12 divided by 6 is what?
-2.
Good. Okay. If I do that in the calculator, negative 12 divided by 6, I get negative 2. Now, negative 2, is that going to go on the top or the bottom?
Bottom.
No, the bottom. 6 is bigger.
Okay.
Bottom is
Well,
negative.
now, if I wanted to write negative 2 as a fraction, how would I write negative 2 as a fraction?
-2/1.
Negative 2 over 1. A whole number is a fraction, you just put it over 1. So, negative 2 is on the top, right? So, as a fraction, it would be written on the top. So, when I write it over here, it's got to go on the top.
There's no fraction.
Hmm?
No, like the other one.
Well, we write the fraction bar just in case at the beginning, just in case we have anything under it. Then we're going to go ahead and start by writing the fraction bar. And then if nothing goes under it, then we'll just box it. Okay, use it as a box. Okay, so watch. Now, I did the whole numbers. Now we're going to do the ends. So I've got a 4 and a 2. What do I do? Subtract. 4 minus 2 gives me what? Just 2. It's a positive 2. So where does m go?
The top.
The top, because it's a positive exponent. Okay? Now I've got ends. 3 minus 3 gives me 0. How many ends do I have? 0. Okay, remember we said the same thing on the top and bottom? You have the same thing on the top and bottom. What happens? They cancel out. Cross them out. We'll have N3 and N3. Same thing, top and bottom, they cancel out. Do I have anything on the bottom of this fraction? No, so this is my answer.
So this negative goes on the bottom.
Negative what?
Like you said, for example, we like 4 minus 2 and it was a negative on the bottom or no?
4 minus 2, these m's?
Yeah, if it was a negative.
If it was a negative, you put it on the bottom and make it positive.
Alright.
Okay? Okay, here we go. Number 7. Last one. The area A of a parallelogram. What's a parallelogram look like?
Parallel.
Looks like this. Parallelogram has 4 parallel sides. So it kind of looks like a rectangle. Okay? So, the area. An Amber Alert.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all turn it off. Cameron, why are you doing that? Stop. That doesn't mean keep going. Can you rip it and then take it off when we're done? Okay. Here we go. The area A of a parallelogram is 36 times x to the 8 times y to the 7 square feet. The height h of a parallelogram is 9x cubed y to the 5th. The area of the parallelogram can be found by using the formula A equals base times height. Find the length of the parallelogram's base. So what am I finding?
The base.
Find the length, which it should be the base. You're right, it should be the base. Okay, that's a typo. It should say base. Okay, what information does it give me? Well, what is this right here?
The area.
The area. So everybody write a big A over it. And what is this right here?
The height.
Height. Write an H. Does it tell you a formula?
Yes.
A equals BH. Everybody write that. A equals BH. Write it. Cameron, write it. All right, here we go. Now, I'm going to plug in the information that it gives me into this formula. So, do I know the big A? Yeah. Okay, so right here, we labeled the big A. So I want you to write that. 36 x to the 8, y to the 7 equals. So I put it in the big A spot. So everybody should be writing, Ethan. Do I know the B, the base? No, because what's it say? Find the base. Find the B, right? So we don't know that. Let's go ahead and put B there. Do I know the height? Yes. And if I plug something in, what's got to go around it? Parentheses. 9x cubed y fifth. So everybody should be writing that. So what does it want me to find? The base. I know the area. It wants to know B. Okay. Well, what operation is happening between the base and the height?
Multiplication.
Are y'all looking up here?
Yeah.
What operation is happening between the B and the height? Multiplication. So what's the opposite of multiplication? Divide. So I'm going to divide 9x cubed y to the fifth. I'm going to get rid of this so I can get b by itself. And what I do to one side, do to the other. 9x3 y 5. Okay, I want you to go through right here and highlight all your big numbers, one color. So yours should look like mine. Look how I did it. Make yours look like mine. And then go highlight all your x's another color. Then all your y's another color.
That's in another classroom.
Okay, don't worry about it. Worry about this. Okay, now let's start on this side. If I have the same thing on the top and bottom of a fraction, what happens?
Cancel.
They cancel. So what happens to these 9s? What happens to the x cubes? Y to the 5s. So what am I left with? B equals. What about the other side? Can I cancel anything? No, because they're all different. What operation is happening? Division. So if I cover this up, this is exactly what you've been doing. Okay, divide the big. 36 divided by 9 is 4. What do I do with the exponents? Subtract. 8 minus 3 is
5.
So x to the fifth. 7 minus 5 is
2.
2. Y squared. Do I know what the b is? The base?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's my answer. Any questions?
Yes. How is this going to help us?
Any questions about notes?